Welcoming Missori to FanDuel, FanDuel to Missori. We are here at Arrowhead, a very special guest, a guy who's wheeling and dealing, head honcho of business, the big boss, the team president, Mark Donovan. It is so nice to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to have you here. Welcome to Missori.
Thank you. Welcome back to Missori. It's very exciting. And we were just talking about when you got here in '09, and I quickly did that math, and oh my gosh, that is 17 years.
Yeah, it's been an interesting 17 years. A lot of fun on the back end for sure recently. But, you know, went through a lot, learned a lot, and feel like we're part of this organization, part of this family, and part of this group.
I feel like it's gone pretty well for you guys.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Things have been pretty fun. If you look at even just '09 to now, or even before then, you've been in the league for 27 years.
Yeah.
Sort of, you know, you and Andy doing this whole thing. I want to get into that a little bit, but we just had Tyrann Mathieu on.
Yeah.
I know what it's like when he has a win. All these players. What does a win look like to Mark Donovan?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a really good question. I worked at the NFL for 4 years at the league office, and at the league, a win means very little because half your bosses won and half your bosses lost that week. You work for the owners. So you get to the team. I spent 6 years in Philadelphia, and that was the first time I ever got back to what I felt when I played and when I got to compete myself. Like, that matters to everybody in our organization, from the receptionist to the accountants to the salespeople to the operations people. It matters, and it makes a huge difference. So on the good days, you feel great, and on the tough days, you feel, you know, it's a tough day for everybody. But I also think that's what makes being a part of an organization, part of a team, special. We ask a lot of these people. They work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for an entire season plus. And they got to feel like they're part of a team. So long-winded answer to your question of it matters, and it definitely impacts your wins and losses.
I think a lot of people maybe don't know about your job. I feel like the team president role is a little enigmatic. Like, I feel like it's a little, you guys have this like secret society. I'm like, who's the team president? All you do is wheel and deal. You grow the game. You grow your fan base. You've done it globally on such a brilliant level. Can you talk to me a little bit about like the area that your role crosses over into like an Andy and Brett role? Is it completely separate? I really don't know the answer to that. And that's crazy that years and years and years into this business, I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I think it's fair not to know the answer because I think every organization is a little different, and the structures are a bit different. Ours is pretty typical now. If you look at the organizations of today, you really need to divide up the jobs. When you got an ownership group like we do with the Hunt family, and Clark Hunt is our CEO, chairman, Andy Reid, myself, and our general manager, Brett Veach, we all report directly to Clark. And I think that makes it very successful because it's very accountable. Everybody's accountable, and we all know that. It also, he's great at empowering us to do our jobs. So the three of us work together just about every day on something.
Like what? Like what's the part of the Venn diagram where there's
so that's the interesting part. It changes every day.
Does
too.
It?
Yeah. I mean, the good news is we divide up our responsibilities very cleanly. Like, Andy is coaching. Andy is the leader of the organization from a media standpoint, right? He's the face of the organization with everything he does every week. He leads the entire team, the football team. Brett has all player evaluation, salary cap, everything you could do with evaluating, scouting, or figuring out who's going to make up our roster. And then I have everything else. And that's an easy way of saying, like, it's everything we see here. And it's a blessing to be in the position that I'm in. But what we laugh about a lot, the three of us, is if people actually knew what we do every day and the things we deal with every day, and the craziness and the excitement and the serious stuff that we deal with, there's a lot of overlap. It's almost impossible to explain it all.
What's an example? I mean, now I need a story. What is an example of what it's like to be
you? The simplest examples are after the game last week, you know, we're sitting outside of Andy's office and going to the game on Thanksgiving, and Brett says to me with Clark there, like, hey, guys are thinking white on white, right? So it's a uniform color. Well, Clark is very methodical. So he initially looks at me and says, okay, what's our record in white on white? What's our record on the road in white on white? Have we ever played on a Thanksgiving Day in white on white? How do the guys feel about it? And then finally he goes, what's it mean for our brand? Like all that happens outside the
So
locker
thoughtful.
room. And it's like, okay, well, my job is to know the answer to those questions, give him my opinion on what it does for the brand, and support Brett, who clearly wanted to go white on white. So we did that in 30 seconds, right? The next thing we're dealing with is, okay, we have an injury to a player. What do we do with MRIs? Which doc are we getting him to? How quickly can we get something back to us so we can make evaluations on what we're going to do next week? And then that turns into Brett's job. Yeah, so it's all real time. And like I said at the beginning, it's about the responsibilities and defining them and trusting each other.
And then that's wild. And I'm thinking about it from your perspective. Like, you know ball. Like, you are a quarterback. You carry yourself as one walking, Brown quarterback. You've been involved in the game on the the player side as well. Do you ever like go and say like, hey Andy, what do you think? Or like, do you ever like go in there and like, don't lie. Do you ever give your XO personnel 2 cents?
Yeah, I think one of the best things that happened to me when I got to Philadelphia was understanding how hard these guys work. And just the game has changed so much. I mean, what Patrick and our quarterbacks deal with, what our coaches deal with, what our defense coordinators deal with, the game is like light years from what I remember it being. And understanding that in Philadelphia, that was a quick understanding of like, okay, that's different. Like, you have no right to be in that room. I will share just real quickly the Patrick story. You've heard all the stories on Patrick and us acquiring Patrick, and Brett Veach is pounding on the table like this is the best football player he's ever seen, which actually happened. But prior to that, I got a call from Andy. This was prior to the draft. And Andy only references my quarterback play when he really needs something, right? So
What do you mean?
he'll call me up and say, hey, can you come down? In this case, he was like, can you come down? His office is below mine. I'm like, sure, what's up? He goes, just come down. So I go downstairs, sit in his office. He goes, you got to see this. And he's got a highlight of Patrick in college. And it's the play where he rolls to the right, rolls to the left, and flicks it from like his hip 60 yards. Yeah. And I go, that's awesome. He goes, yeah. Like, I knew you'd get it. I'm like, everybody gets it.
Wow.
So I'm like, what's up? He
What do
goes,
you
I
mean?
just wanted you to see it. And I'm like, why? And he said, well, we're going to have to move up really far to get this kid. And you know what's going to happen. I'm going to tell, Brett's going to tell Clark, then Clark's going to call me. And I'm going to tell him we got to do it. And then Clark's going to call you.
It's a dance.
And you need to tell him that we're ready to do this. I'm like, tell me why you think that. He told me. I'm like, all right, I got you.
And then did you go do your own eval?
No.
No, you just.
No,
Well, I
not even
remember
close.
like go back up to your office and go
trust
down
me.
a YouTube demo. I don't know.
You know, it's insane trust with those
Mark, that's
guys. They're
insane.
brilliant. And then literally to script. Phone rings. Clark. We had 9 things to cover on the business side, 3 things to cover on contract side, 2 other things to cover which had nothing to do with anything. And he goes, hey, by the way, did you get worried about this Mahomes kid? I'm like, yeah, I've heard a little bit about it.
Yeah, just a
He
little.
goes, oh, Andy's saying we got to move all the way up to here. What do you think? I'm like, I trust your guy. Like, if Coach thinks we got to move up that far, and if Brett believes we got to move up that far, we probably do. And if they really think we should, we probably should.
And you and Andy, I imagine, can finish each other's sentences. You've known each other so
Yeah.
long. How big of a role did you have with him getting hired here? You were already here.
Yeah.
I've never seen you guys speak on this.
Yeah, I think the fair way to say it is that Clark Hunt hired Andy Reid. No, there's no question about that. In fact, Clark made it a point to make sure he was the first one to reach out to Andy, not me. So, you know the story. Like, Andy gets fired, and Clark called him literally the next day, and it was the first call that Andy took, which was all great. I think that, you know, my 6 years in Philly with Andy, we went through a lot together, a lot of good, a lot of bad, and I think that mattered. There were some interesting points in the interview process where it was just Andy and I in the room, where we could talk openly about sort of what it was like here and what I thought the opportunity was here. But I think Andy has said this publicly. You know, he could have gone anywhere. And there's a lot to being a part of this organization. There's a lot to being part of an organization run by the Hunt family. And he knew that. So I think a lot of the things lined up. I hope I was part of that.
You steward the brand. We are in a dynasty. It's not going the way that we want it to go, right, as Chiefs fans. What can you tell me about how this brand handles adversity like it does now, like it's in now?
Yeah, I'll go back to what I started with, which is there are a number of people on our staff who were there with me and with Clark, even before Andy and Brett, who lived through 4-12 and 2-14, and understood like what it meant and what we need to do to get it right. And we really focused on preparing for our success and trying to put the people and process in place. And I bring that up because I think they have the best perspective of what it's like now. And I think they also have the best perspective of what it's like to be 6-6 and still in the hunt, right? If you listen to the media right now, they're saying what they're going to say because it's the media. You're a part of that, right? What we need to do is focus on today. And we had to do that back when we were 4-12 and 2-14. And we didn't have a lot of success even when we did that, but we knew it was the right thing to do. And Andy absolutely believes that. You'll hear that if he hasn't already said it this week. He'll say it, which is we're going to focus on today, get better today. We're going to focus on what we can handle on Sunday. And then we'll go from there.
And you're focused on the health and the growth. What is the move, the partnership, the area of growth since 2009 to now that you're most proud of?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges that Clark put in front of me when I was here is he wanted to return to being a model franchise, the kind of franchise that other NFL clubs and other sports franchises across the world call and say, how'd you guys do this? Yeah. So, to be at that level now, I mean, we're the #1 brand in the NFL. We are the #1 brand in the NFL on TikTok. We're the #1 NFL franchise when it comes to YouTube subscribers. We're the only team in the National Football League that's it's in 7 markets internationally. And we take a lot of pride in that. So I think that's what I'm most proud of. I would tell you real quickly that one of the things that Andy and I talked about when he first got here is, we weren't very good then. And you felt it in town as a brand. And we talked about if we just did our job well, we could change the way things go in this town, in this region, and how people feel about this region. And how they feel about Kansas City and being a part of this. And that's really cool. Like every year I hear stories of somebody who's traveling in Indonesia or Germany or Italy. Like I went to this little shop and this woman said, "You're from Kansas City, hold on." And then they pull the jersey out.
In Poland.
Yeah.
On farms that know Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And no offense to any other GOATs out there, do not know who Tom Brady is. I'm not joking. They know Mahomes.
Yeah.
And that is the work that you've done in globalizing this. And you should be really proud of that. And I think that you guys just got to steward it back to where it needs to be. I will ask you this. What have you learned about Swifties?
It's funny. I'll take that one. So Taylor's been amazing to us. It's been nothing but good. She is a phenomenon. But she is just a special, kind person. And my job early on in this was, and I told Travis this, like, look, we're going to treat you and your relationship with the same respect that we treat any other player and coach's relationship. It's a relationship. Like, we're not going to monetize it. We're not going to go out there and go crazy. For a couple of years, all those shots you see of Taylor in the stadium, right? He scores a touchdown. He makes a catch. It goes to Taylor, especially the first year. We never showed Taylor on our big boards in our stadium.
Really?
Never. It was respectful. It's like, we're not going to do that. Like, we're not taking advantage of this relationship. I joked with him early on in the first year, we never played a Taylor Swift song in the stadium when she's in the building. Because he's like,
kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's
like
awkward for me.
Cringe.
And Travis, to his credit, is all about team, and he's all about the guys, and he's all about being a part of a team and not being separate. And he said, that separates me. Like, when we're playing a game, when we're in that stadium, it's about us, and I want it to be about us.
That said, it's
I was
not
like,
any other
I got
relationship, though, Mark. Like, it's very unique in your role. You're the only team president in NFL history that has dealt with the biggest pop star globally walking through the door and walking up that ramp into a suite next to Britney. Like, it is a one-of-one phenomenon. What has blown you away about or maybe I'll just ask this. Not just Taylor and Travis, that relationship, what has that done to the growth of what this brand is? Yeah,
it's had a big impact on us. I often say that, a lot of this was in place before the relationship. Like, a lot of the growth, a lot of things that happened, a lot of the success we've had was prior to that. I say that everything Taylor's brought to us has been good and positive, and it has. It's accelerated this stuff. I think the timing of it made a big impact. If you think about when everything started taking off publicly about their relationship, she was in the heat of her New Eras tour. And really, when it started taking off, she was on her international leg. And we were playing in Frankfurt, Germany. So all these things lined up, right? And all of a sudden, worldwide.
Exactly luck, though, Mr. Donovan.
Right.
Like you're the one you're the wizard that's putting it all together.
There's a lot of wizards.
Shadows.
Yeah, there are a lot of wizards in the
That's
building.
just incredible. What's your favorite Taylor Swift song? Last one. What's your
Oh,
song?
gosh. You know, there are so many out there. I know that the new album's got, all the interesting ones. I was a Purple Haze guy.
Okay, let's go. I absolutely love that. Real last one for you, and I know you're so busy. Thank you for your generosity, for your time, for your warm welcome. As you know, Missori means a lot to me. This city means a lot to me, and so many people now globally as that #1 NFL fan base and team and franchise and all of that. The partnership with FanDuel, I work for them. It's important to me. We are welcoming an entire new audience. What do you make of that partnership? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, we're really excited about it. I mean, they're one of the best in the business. We're excited about what this can do to our fan base and our brand. You think about the impact that this has on our sport and sports in general. It's just more activation. It's more content consumption. It's more of everything. And we're excited to work with them to activate that.
Very, very exciting, and we'll be here for that. We've got lots going on. Mark Donovan, thank you for joining us. We appreciate that. And Swifties, welcome. Come one, come all. We'll be with you guys tomorrow back in LA. Big thanks to the Chiefs, to Joe KC, to Tyrann Mathieu for making the trip here. We'll see you guys.